Don't you dare finish that sentence. Don't do it. I'm sick of it.
Entire community that is facing genocide, to be honest with you. So I'm glad you feel comfortable with that, but I do see this as a problem, and I would personally be careful how you're stating things. I think he took us off.
At HyperCole64 asks if we've ever had a bad time with something called an Undertale. Well, I'm kind of a pacifist, if you know what I mean. I'd never do something to anger Sans like that. I mean, what kind of monster would you have to be?
Personally, I'm more of a fan of the genocide playthrough.
Again?
It was literally only 9 months ago I made a video talk about a Mike Pollock controversy of him saying some very questionable things. He was saying a lot of stuff on his Twitter and people thought he was hacked, but then he came out and said that he wasn't hacked. And then after that whole Twitter space incident he had, people just stopped liking him after that. Because of all the stuff he was saying was very unprofessional. And then just yesterday, he happened to do the exact same thing. You can't even back him out for all the new stuff he's been saying, because the amount of comments I got on that last video talking about the situation, because I didn't even know people that many people watched it, because it's my third most watched video. And the images I'm gonna show may be out of order, because these were just the screenshots I saw posted on Twitter with the hashtag recast Eggman. So the first tweet that I see was by FuaBunny_. It just says get this creep recasted now. And then in the first screenshot, I didn't even know when this when he ever said this, because it says this was from October 2022, and then I'm not sure what the context was. It seems like he's talking about Eggman's original actor from the adventure games who passed away. Now I don't know the context of this one, but it just says you forgot one important person who voiced Eggman, the late Dean Bristow. And then he replies with, maybe if he had one on time he would have been included. I don't know what the context of this one was, but the screenshot next to it is recent. Next to it is this screenshot, and the screenshot that's supposed to go with this, it says I support reading, please do. And as you see both of these screenshots next to each other, it's obvious that he shouldn't be saying this type of stuff. And then there's this screenshot by someone named Do Enjoyer, and the screenshot says, hey, can you tell your weirdo fan base not to call me slurs in DMs? Cheers, mate. And then in the screenshot you can see the DM of that person saying that to them in their DMs. And then this was just sometime yesterday, and then he replies with, hey, we're a fan base, don't call Juno slurs in DMs. Do it publicly, I guess.
Is this nigga serious?
Like, who says that? Just tell them not to do it. And then with that other screenshot before, there's this one with a person named Cheyenne is talking to him about the thing that he said before. And the one who posted these screenshots is someone named Crafty Adrian 360 saying Mike Pollock does not care about his child audience. He should not be the face of a children's video game franchise like Sonic the Hedgehog. And then there's this screenshot. And then there's even more people talking about that he should be recasted now. And the thing that I didn't even know before is that there's a video I've seen on Twitter, and that apparently there are a bunch of screenshots in a guy's video that literally dates back to 2018. And then I'm just gonna play some clips from that video. And then the video is from Telekinetic Man. I hope I said that guy's name right.
Funnily enough, during the pre-production of this video, Pollock had to embarrass himself further by starting drama about NFTs in a reply to Roger Craig Smith wishing Steve Aoki a happy birthday, and then complaining when people rightfully took issue with his uninformed centrist position on important world issues. He also brought the idea of being American into it for some reason, just inventing an imaginary person to get mad about and then wondering why people didn't agree with his bad take. Refusal to take a side against unjust systems is siding with those unjust systems. Would Pollock voice an ad campaign for a hateful group, such as something known for racist or homophobic beliefs, even if it wasn't blatantly obvious on their marketing? Or would he not care because it doesn't personally affect him and he just wants that paycheck? I'm not accusing anything here. I'm just curious as to how far this ignorant mindset goes. My favorite part about this is that Roger had to tell Mike to shut up and untag him from the Twitter conversation, because Pollock routinely piggybacks off anything Sonic related that Roger says, and inevitably starts long debates in the replies for days on end, which I'm sure Roger loves to keep getting notified of. In a tweet remembering the passing of previous Dr. Eggman voice actor Dean Bristow, Mike Pollock chimes in to remind everyone that he was voicing Eggman beforehand in Sonicx. While you could argue he was trying to correct any misconceptions that he was Eggman because of Bristow's passing, stating that he actually began beforehand in the TV show, there is a time and a place for such comments, and phrasing is very important. This reads as if he feels the need to make the death of a previous Eggman voice about himself, rather than simply not saying anything. His response when this was brought up to him? I'm just spitting straight facts. Very mature. Also, common trend here that you might notice, was he tagged in this tweet? No. You may also notice most conversations of his relate back to money or blatant self-promotion. A few years back, in a tweet appreciating the Eggman voice of another Sonic fan, Mike Pollock shows up to say, "Sad. I'd prefer to think people imagine my Eggman voice, but that's just me." When someone mentioned that this was kind of egotistical of him, he responded, "Not when my name's in the credits." Again, he was not tagged and no one mentioned his name. This was a tweet about Eggman, the character, that Mike Pollock does not own. An artist made their own storyboards of classic Eggman with Tom Kenny's voice as a hypothetical new take on the character. Without being tagged, Mike Pollock shows up to offer his input. This went on for a while, with him leaping to such conclusions that material like this is a threat to putting food on the table for his wife and children. Keep in mind that this is a fan-made piece from a 17-year-old. He claimed that said artist called off the dogs when they never attacked him in the first place. Rather, he showed up to start trouble. Pollock's defense against all of this is that he's simply playing things up for his online persona, and that if you knew all of his friends in person, they always talk about just how great of a guy he is. If you have a problem with him, he can't apologize for it, because apparently that's just how he is. Any perceived dickishness was inferred, never implied. So apparently it's your fault you think he's being rude, not his. God forbid you say anything bad about this guy online, because a bunch of nerds will come after you for daring to criticize the voice of Dr. Eggman.
Like, you literally can't even defend this guy anymore. I got so many comments on my last video of multiple saying that people can have different opinions and he's just supporting what he believes in. But can you even defend this at this point? To him talking about the previous voice actor that passed away, him literally saying to call someone slurs publicly and not in private DMs. Like, how can you defend something like this? It's not like he's even doing this on alt accounts. He's literally doing it on his main account publicly where everyone can see. I don't want to see any comments saying people can have different opinions or some people defending him, because how could you defend something like this? Like, all of this is literally just unprofessional of him to say and do. Like, out of all the comments, there's literally just one comment I got from that video, which is a pinned comment, because if out of all of them, it wasn't one defending him, and it's from Sonic P1356, and it reads, "I don't know what to say about all this. I just don't know what went wrong with Mike Pollock saying this stuff. Like, why he say some of that stuff that's practically inhumane and say it so casually." And I did have other comments on that weren't defending him. I just pinned that one mainly because that's exactly what I thought of why he shouldn't just say this stuff casually out of nowhere. And then there are just multiple videos of people showing of who should revoice them, such as his voice actor from sonicprime.
It worked. Without the power of that blue buffoon, we would have had to dig for months. Thank you for the earthquake, Sonic. Which I'm pretty sure I said in my last video wouldn't even be a bad pick either. Then another voice, someone named Fred Tasta. Tata Score. I'm saying these names wrong, I know. Reason is there for me to run. I only need to inject the chakra of one more person into the orb. And our preparation for the Master Puppet's revival will be in place.
Clancy Brown as Eggman.
I can't think of a morning I haven't woken up with the thought of strangling you. That sanctimonious image of yours fooled everyone except me.
And even his voice actor from the Death Battle, which he did a good job in too.
I've come to make an announcement. This territory is now the base for my upcoming Eggman Land 2. I am Dr. Eggman, your new genius overlord. Get a load of this.
I hope Sega does something about this, because especially from last time, I feel like they should have done something about this by now. Because it's just wrong to talk about Dean Bristol's passing about himself, voicing Eggman. And even if you say anything about him, he just blocks you. I feel like I have to say this isn't a personal attack or anything, just so that I won't get an abundant amount of comments saying the exact same shit from the last video I did of him. Because there's just no defending this guy anymore. I'm also gonna link my old previous video I did on him 9 months ago if you want to see that too. I hope he eventually gets recasted with some of the voice actors that people said that they'll be good, because they are great choices. My personal pick is just his voice actor from Sonic Prime. And in conclusion, Sonic Riders is back, baby!